Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Do you correct people when they call you Gunther?
No, I don't.
Are you like, it's actually Gunther?
It's Gunther, actually.
Gunther.
Yes, Gunther. That's how I pronounce it, at least. But everybody has their own spin on it somehow.
This is like reflecting in my eye here. Yeah.
Well, as it should be, right? It's a championship. At the moment, it's one of the most prestigious championships. I mean, we can argue that.
I mean, we're about a month away from you making history here.
Yes, it's getting closer and closer, but I try not to focus on that too much. That's like a nice little check mark when it happens. Tomorrow I have Drew, SummerSlam. It's a big deal. It's my first SummerSlam. Singles match with Drew on that stage in general is a big deal. So my energy goes into that.
Do you feel like there might be a conversation at some point with you and Honky Tonk Man?
I don't know.
He's in town this weekend. I ran into him at the airport.
Oh, is he? Funny enough, the first indie show I ever visited in Austria, the Honky Tonk Man was on there.
No way.
Yes. Wow. It's a funny fact, actually. It just came back to my mind. Some gymnasium in Austria, I remember that. I don't know. I never seen him since, so maybe I bump into him.
What do you think of the way that Samantha just punctuates your name when she says it?
Yeah, it's a very good introduction, right? I think it adds to the presentation, definitely. I think in general she does a great job. She puts her own spin onto every competitor, I feel like. And that helps us to stand out a little bit more.
What would you say is the biggest difference between Walter and the man who is standing in front of me right now?
40 pounds? I think that's the biggest difference, actually. From an outside perspective, I would say. In general, the last few years have been a big learning experience for me. I turned a lot of things around in my life. But and I think you grow through that process, right? And I think Gunther is a way more mature and updated version of what Walter was.
What was the genesis of wanting to make that change in yourself?
It was when I got called up to the main roster. I thought I need to bring an updated version of myself, and that's the difference. Before I was in the eye of the die-hard wrestling fans, and I feel like with them you get away with a little bit more than with the casual viewers. So, and being on the main roster means you're on national television every week. We get seen by so many people. I just thought I have to bring the best package possible.
Growing up in Austria, what did Arnold Schwarzenegger mean to you?
To me personally, not as much. Like Giovanni is like, Arnold is his big idol. Like he's a big admirer of him. I think his life and everything is incredible. I think there are a few stories from Austrian people, like athletes or something like that, or musicians, that when they have a career, it kind of stands out a little bit in its own. I think like our actors are like that too. So I try to be on that path. So when I get eyes on me now, I try to be an original, if that makes sense, that people can remember.
When you did make the change, when you went from Walter to Gunther, I feel like there were fans that were like, oh man, why are they changing this? Why are they changing his name? How did you feel about it?
I expected it, and I kind of got a warning a little bit early that might happen. But I was fine with it. At the end of the day, it was reasonable to me, since Walter is my legal name. Like I said, I was fine with it. I was pretty convinced that, at the end of the day, Gunther is going to make me way more money than Walter ever did. So at the beginning, I was always like, well, you're used to something, you want to keep it, but change happened, change is normal. There are not many wrestlers that can claim they only had one name their whole career, and I got away with Walter for a long time. So
Nobody does chops like you. Have your chops always been that hard?
I guess, yeah.
Do you have massive hands? Is that what this is?
I think I do have long limbs.
Well, that's wow. Yeah, that's a big hand.
I have long limbs as well. So when I started wrestling, I was just always thinking, what could I do in the ring that makes sense for me? So I was like, I have long limbs, so I got to use them the most effective way possible. And that was the thought behind it.
But what is it? Is it that you wind up more? Is it that you put more surface area on it? What is it?
That's what when I train in Japan is what you learn. You gotta use your forearm as well, not just your hand.
So you're putting the force in with your forearm?
Yes.
You're hitting them with your forearm?
As well, yes. All across the chest. It's the forearm and the hand. They all have to lay in.
It all makes sense. Well, sir, good luck tomorrow. Not that you need it. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is a very big hand.